So yeah, the first one, Robin Hood and the Tinker. Uh, so it starts out with the sheriff getting pretty irritated at Robin Hood and what his gang has been doing. And there's also a reward from the king that the sheriff really wants to get his hands on, a fair amount of money. So the sheriff decides he's going to hire someone else to catch Robin Hood, and he serves a warrant because his men tell him that nobody in Nottingham town is going to fight Robin, is going to try and capture Robin because they're all kind of afraid of Robin and they also all really like Robin. So nobody there is going to go after him. And he says, okay, well, then I'm going to send a messenger out to Lincoln town and see if they can find anybody there who's willing to come and capture Robin Hood. So the messenger goes out with the warrant and he stops at a place called the Blue Boar Inn, which we will see more of in these next stories. But he stops at the Blue Boar Inn, and he it's a hot day, so he has a beer, and he's sitting outside, and he sees all these guys outside, a tinker, two barefoot friars, and a party of six foresters, all clad in Lincoln green. And they were all drinking ale and singing merry ballads of good times. Um, and he gets to talking with the tinker, who asks him about news, and they're chatting over beers, and the tinker basically is like, I could beat this guy up. I'm Watt, oh the Crabstaff, that's his name, Watt. Um and I can take on anybody. So the messenger's like, great, I found my guy. I didn't even have to go to Lincoln Town. He goes back with Watt to Nottingham, and Watt is a little bit drunk already, and so he's walking around Nottingham singing quite loudly, looking for Robin Hood. And Robin Hood comes up to him, and he says, "Hey, friend, how you doing? What's going on?" And they sort of jest back and forth about drinking. He sort of teases the tinker for being drunk, and the tinker sort of says, "Well, I bet you like drinking too, don't you?" And Robin Hood says, "You know what? You're right. Let's go get a beer." So they go back to the Blue Boar uh, together, and Robin Hood pulls the host of the inn and the bar, the tavern aside, and he says, "Hey, give this guy in his beer mix some Flemish strong water, I think it's
Yeah.
called, and which I assume is some sort of
Strong
alcohol.
liquor.
Yeah, some sort of strong liquor, exactly. So Robin Hood gets the tinker drunk super quickly, and the tinker falls asleep drunk on the table, at which point Robin Hood steals the warrant and runs off with it. Robin Hood pays for their drinks, but then tells the landlord of the inn to also make the tinker pay for the drinks. And so when the tinker sort of comes to later, the landlord says, "Well, didn't you know you were drinking with Robin Hood?" And the tinker's quite angry about that. But the landlord's like, "Hey, I didn't know you didn't know him. Don't beat me up, but you do owe me. You do owe me for all those drinks." And the tinker has no money, so he gives away his bag and his hammer and his coat in payment instead, um, and has to walk out angry and hungover, and heads back into Nottingham town, where he comes across Robin Hood again, and they fight a little bit, and Robin Hood smacks him in the ribs with his staff, but then the tinker breaks Robin Hood's staff, and Robin Hood's in trouble, and he's going to get beat up, but then he blows his horn, and all his merry men show up, and they rescue him, and sort of his whole crew rolls up behind him, and the tinker is like, "Well, I'm clearly not going to beat off seven guys, however strong I am. It's not going to happen." So Robin Hood says, "Hey, you've been a good guy. Why don't you come join us? We'll give you the Lincoln green suits, and we'll pay you 40 marks, and you can hang out with us in the forest, and it'll be a fun time." And the tinker basically says, "Yeah, that sounds great. I'll do that. You're stronger and stouter than I, slyer than I, so I will be thine own true servant." And he goes off with them into the woods and sings ballads for them, and does a good job of it until later, I guess, some minstrel shows up, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. So that's the first story.